in Hyderabad. On the second day, G20 delegates brainstormed on digital skilling and also visited the technology hub located in Hyderabad to see how India is changing with the changing technological landscape. We have a report.
On the second day of the second meeting of the ongoing Digital Economy Working Group in Hyderabad, the capital of Telangana, digital skilling was on the top of the agenda. Secretary in the Ministry of Electronics and Information and Technology in the Government of India, Alkesh Kumar Sharma, informed G20 delegates about the three-pronged agenda of the working group meeting revolving around digital public infrastructure, cybersecurity and digital skilling. But the prime focus of the day continued to be on digital skilling. There were extensive discussions on concrete and practical steps that can be considered for one of the priority areas of the working group, digital skilling. A presentation based on a toolkit for skilling, reskilling, upskilling was also made. A workshop was conducted on mutual recognition framework on digital skills, which explored ways in which digital skills can be recognized across borders and a framework can be developed to promote global digital skill recognition. After the day's deliberations on digital skilling, a draft was prepared for the final declaration. Brazil's representative at the meeting shared his views on why the issues being discussed in the meeting are important for all the G20 countries.
They are of utmost importance. All three proposals will be considered, duly considered by all G20 countries, and I'm very optimistic for the discussions.
The second day of the meeting also saw delegates from G20 countries visit the technology hub in Hyderabad. The visit presented to the delegates a picture of a new India, which is changing with changing technologies.
The topic of digital skilling was discussed on Tuesday, but Wednesday is also an important day. Discussions are to be held on digital public infrastructure and cyber security. Along with this, the delegates will take on a tour of Golconda Fort. With camera person Ravi, Aditya Srivastav, DD India, Hyderabad.
Okay, our correspondent Aditya Srivastav now joins us from Hyderabad. Aditya, we saw your report on how the day 2 of the Digital Economy Working Group concentrated on enhancing digital connectivity and of course skilling the youth, and also not only in India but in countries of the global south. Now you've told us that today's day is going to focus on digital public infrastructure. Tell us more about it and how digital public infrastructure can enhance the development goals of the developing countries of the G20.
Yes, Tanvi, good morning. Today is third day and last day of second Digital Economy Working Group. Two major topics will be discussed today, as you say. One is the digital public infrastructure and cyber security. We know all government wants to, wants to strong public infrastructure because of distributing the public policy to the last man of the society. So how can improve, how can strong this public infrastructure through the digitally manner? In this session today will be conducted. So all G20 countries delegates will discuss on that. India gave a presentation on that, how we use toolkit for digital public infrastructure, and the second issue is important issue also because we know we are in the digital era. So cyber security is also a very important for all countries, not only G20 countries but all over the world. So how we are doing good in cyber security. These are the two topics will be a major topic for today. But yes, in this conference, all G20 countries will discuss, sharing our best practices, innovations in the sector of cyber security, in the sector of digital public infrastructure. Yesterday, delegates had a discussion on digital skilling, how we skill, how we upskill, how we reskill our manpower in this sector. All our wants to improve their economies, all our wants to increase our economy through the digitally manner. So we can say this Digital Economy Working Group meeting is very important. Today is a third day. Two main topics will be discussed today.
Aditya, when one looks at in today's times, you would find it rare to find a human being without a footprint there in the online space. In that context, staying safe online is also a big issue. How does this particular G20 digital working group meet, address this particular issue of staying safe online?
Anil, as we know, in this second Digital Economy Working Group meeting, Stay Safe Online campaign introducing by the IT Ministry in this campaign to the G20 country delegates. India gave a direction, India gave a innovation in this sector. One more campaign introduced in this meeting held in Hyderabad regarding the startups. Yesterday we saw when delegates visited Tech Hub, T-Hub, yani ki technology, it means technology hub. So delegates also know how Indian startups are working on software sector, how Indian startups are working in the hardware sector for the cyber security. In Tech Hub, there are more than 100 softwares are working in one building in 3 or 4 floors. Hyderabad is a technical hub of India. So India is also representing, India is also showcasing our power of technology, our power of software, hardwares to the G20 countries. Yes, the cyber today, as we know, the cyber security issue will also discussed. All countries, what are they doing in the cyber security for public infrastructure, for digital transactions. India is also doing good in digital transactions like UPI, historic transaction made till date in UPI. This is our better platform, best platform throughout the world. So we are working very good in this sector also, but all G20 countries wants to make a strong digital platform for their people, for their citizens at this time.
Okay, Aditya, the Digital Economy Working Group has had a beginning in Lucknow, and then of course after today, I mean the second meeting is happening in Hyderabad. So after today, where does the Digital Economy Working Group meetings travel next, and when, if you could tell us?
See, there are 4 meetings conducting in this working group. So next meeting will also continue these topics like digital skilling, cyber security, digital public infrastructure. And we can say in the first meeting had in Lucknow, these 3 topics introducing to the G20 countries. But yes, in second meeting there are brainstorming on this topic again. But we can say these 3 topics set a tone for the next 2 meetings for ministerial level meeting. So there are this is very clear that I think next meeting had some important meeting and in this meeting there are some consensus made by the G20 countries in these 3 topics.
Aditya, when one looks at the success, since you mentioned UPI and the success that India has managed to get, as the G20, holding the chair of G20 as the presidency for this particular year, what are the lessons that, the success of UPI that, other countries could pick up, especially those invitee countries who look forward to, a great window to learn as well as pick valuable lessons from all these deliberations?
See, Anil, we are doing good in UPIs. We are doing good in the Aadhaar IDs. We are doing good in the DBT, Direct Benefit Transfer Scheme. So India is set a trend to the G20 countries, to the world, how we can use digital form to improve our digital infrastructure, digital public infrastructure. India is doing very good in telecom sector. In 94%, 96% of villages of our country are covered 4G. Now we are doing in 5G sector, and the target will be 2025. And Prime Minister is also appealing to the society, to the industry to do work on 6G technique till 2030. When on the first day, at the first day, when delegates visited IIT Hyderabad, introducing their 6G technique, 5GI technique, and presenting to the delegate, the professors gave a demonstration to the G20 delegates. So how important 6G technique for people, for life, for society, for industry, for youth, for children, for education, for health sector. India is also doing good at the time of COVID-19. We made a the COVID portal where we give doses of vaccine to our citizens. So all countries wants techniques, all countries want research. India is also doing presidency of G20 with the spirit of Vasudhaiv Kutumbakam. So India is also sharing their ideas, innovation to all countries, and all our wants. There are some countries who cannot afford, who cannot purchase the research technology. So India can also help for those countries also.
Okay, Aditya, one last word before I let you go. Looking at today's times, we are entering into the world of artificial intelligence, chat GPT coming and replacing, the likelihood of replacing workforces and many jobs. In that context, is there deliberation on how there can be a right balance between the two, using artificial intelligence, using all these GPTs that have come about in helping mankind go hand in hand towards progress?
Yes, Anil, this is very important at this time. And yesterday, when delegates talked on digital skilling, they also talked on reskilling, upskilling, because there are a lot of manpower required for in this era for working on digital sector, for working on digital public infrastructure. So yesterday also delegates talked about the opportunities in this sector, employment for skilling, upskilling the employment for employing in this sector. But today is also they will be discussed in two sessions when they talked in digital public infrastructure, and then when they will be talk on cyber security. So the skilling power is very important. Manpower and employment is also a very important issue for this sector.
All right, Aditya, thank you very much for being with us. Today is the concluding day. We'll come back to you for more inputs in the evening. For now,